Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast for May 9th, 2021. If you guys like the stream, hit the like button, hit share button. Make sure you let other people know that I run the stream, run this podcast for you guys. So what I decided to do with the Pitchfork podcast is run the podcast when I run out of live edits. That way I'm doing a daily upload for you guys. That way I can say that I am officially doing daily uploads. So I want you guys to have a little fun here on the podcast. I'm going to do Bad Cop, No Donut. I'm also going to do general anti-government news. So there have been some new subscribers. And I want to make sure that I get all the subscribers covered. So let's go ahead and do the roll real quick. All right, Neil Hamilton. What's up, Neil Hamilton? How you doing? Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast. Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast. Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everyone who joins my podcast, who joins my channel. And it's going to be fun. So let's go ahead and get to the rest of the roles. Frank Villa, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. And we have one more new subscriber to the channel. You want to go ahead and get that out of the way before we get the show started. And I think the next one's going to be Dave Davis. Dave Davis, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the channel. All right, so the channel is growing, guys. The channel is growing. It's going to be some fluctuation because, there's going to be a pick-up, drop-off, but it is what it is. I am building a core audience, and I am liking it. I am loving it. I'm enjoying what I do. So let's get into the live show. All right, so let's go ahead and switch up the window capture here. Change it to my Googles. Now, what I usually do is I do officer, placed on leave. And then I set it to a 24-hour period. It's how I get my dad cop no donuts. It is really, really crazy. So we're going to go ahead and cover that one. Cover this one too. All right, so I want to make sure I cover this Washington Post article here. This article is going to be pretty spicy. This one's going to be about an Alabama officer who was convicted of murder. So it's going to be a spicy one. So I appreciate that. Let's get live edit started. Let's get the live edit started. All right, so we got another Bad Cop, No Donut for you. This is coming from the Washington Post. Alabama police officer convicted for murder for shooting suicidal man in 2018. Suicidal man in 2018. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So the man was suicidal, and the guy says, hey, I'm going to help you out a little bit. You say you want to meet Jesus, I'm going to help you go ahead and get ahead to glory, huh? Wow, this is going to be the ultimate Bad Cop, No Donut. A person who is suicidal, they are supposed to be getting help, and they're not supposed to be killed, for seeking that particular help. And when someone is suicidal, they are in a mindset of being a very, very vulnerable person. And when a vulnerable person loses their life, especially by the hands of a police officer, that is especially tragic. So let's get into this piece here. Written by Letitia Beecham. Published on May 8th, 2021. An Alabama police officer was convicted of murder on Friday for the 2018 shooting of a man who called 911 to report his suicidal thoughts and had a gun to his own head. William Ben Darby, a 28-year-old officer in Huntsville, Alabama, faces between 20 and life in prison for fatally shooting Jeffrey Parker, 49, on April 3rd, 2018, prosecutors said. Darby, who was found guilty by jurors during the second day of deliberations, was previously cleared of wrongdoing by a Huntsville Review Board, which concluded he was justified in using deadly force. So again, it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting how in one frame you have the people out there who are the cops, or people who defend cops who cleared this guy, who said that he did nothing wrong. But now all of a sudden, you notice how a jury of this man's peers, a jury of William Ben Darby's peers, a 28-year-old officer in Huntsville, a jury of his peers found him guilty, and now he's facing 20 to life. So it's very, very interesting the justice that the government wants to administer versus the common average everyday citizen. It's very, very interesting because it is the government who tends to want to control people. People, the citizens in of themselves, they tend to make better decisions collectively than the government ever has. And that's why the government always wants to manipulate decisions made by citizens, because the average citizen in the average country, in the average country, even if you look at the most oppressive dictatorship, are essentially good people. It is the governments that are freaking evil. When I look at starving children in freaking Africa, I don't see those starving children as the problem. I see the governments around the world that are oppressing them that are the problem. So that is a prime example of how common people are nowhere near the level of evil that you find with government, But let's get back into this story, because I guarantee you it's going to get more and more interesting. The officer who claimed he shot Parker in self-defense has strong financial support from a city that put public funding towards his defense. He also received public support from Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle, Republican. Of course, he's a freaking Republican, and the police department during and after Friday's verdict. So again, you had a whole city of bootlickers. You had the mayor Tommy Battle, a freaking Republican. Republicans, pay attention, because this is definitely why freaking minorities don't actually like you or don't vote for you, because once again, you always side in situations that appears to side against citizens, and whenever you do that, you're gonna notice the mass exodus from the Republican Party that you're seeing now. You're gonna freaking notice this, because citizens at the end of the day overall will support citizens, and they will go against the government, and the government realizes that. If you look at the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, notice how over time citizens started getting tired of that. Notice how citizens got tired of freaking Patriot Act. Notice how citizens got tired of the freaking cops, politicians, lawyers. Notice how there's exodus from the Republican Party and even the Democrats. A lot of Democrats don't really like Joe Biden, especially not the far left. Oh my God, the far left, who are not Democrats, by the way, does not like Joe Biden. So you are noticing people are getting tired of the government. And this is why the government always steps in to demonize the citizen or justify abuse via a government agent or via the government itself, be it state or federal. The same pattern always happens. It never changes. Rinse and fucking repeat. It never changes. It's always the same. It's kind of like that one 9 Inch Nails song. Every day is exactly the same. I believe I can see the goddamn future because I repeat the same routine. Yeah. This is exactly like that song. Exactly like that song. By the way, one of my favorite bands is the 9 Inch Nails. But anyways, let's get back into this particular piece here. While we thank the jury for his service in this difficult case, I do not believe Officer Darby is a murderer, said Huntsville Police Chief Mark McMurray in a statement, adding that local law enforcement was in the first stages of shock. Madison County District Attorney Robert L. Broussard vehemently disagreed with the assessment of city and law enforcement leaders, saying in a news conference that Darby had no business being a police officer. Attorneys for Parker's family say Darby, who had been on the police force for about 18 months at that time, shot the white man 11 seconds after entering his home. So this is actually a white victim. A white victim. Interesting. So it's actually a white victim. And I am tickled. I am very, very intrigued to see how bootlickers respond. I'm very, very intrigued to see how bootlickers respond, because now that we know it's a white victim who was gunned down, I'm very, very interested to see how invested against people targeting white folks. How invested are people in upholding the lives of white folks? I'm fighting for you right now, white people, because I don't think that you should be shot by cops either. Don't matter if you're white, black, green, purple. It don't matter to me. So it's gonna be very, very interesting to see the same racists. I want to see if they're gonna demonize this man too, because I think what happened to this man was goddamn wrong, and he's white and I'm black as hell. I'm so black to the point where I have on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different light sources, and I'm still this goddamn dark. You can see my clothes fine, my damn hat fine, but goddamn, I am dark. I am like a magical spell with damn high DPS, baby. Okay? High damage per second. I am that dark. And this man is white, and I'm still upset, visibly angry because of what happened to this man, because the man was suicidal. You are supposed to help that man, not kill him. Help that man, not kill him. He was not justified in any way with what he did to Mr. Parker, said Broussard, who called the officer's actions off the charts. Darby was placed on administrative leave after the shooting. It is very, very interesting. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. The verdict comes weeks after former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted of murdering George Floyd, which some say reflect a change in how police are held accountable for deadly force. The verdict also reignites conversations about how officers are trained to respond to mental health crises in the months since the death of Walter Wallace, a 27-year-old black man who was killed by Philadelphia police last year. Martin Weinberg, an attorney for Parker's family, told the Washington Post in a Saturday evening interview that the district attorney and the jury made just decisions despite the public stances of the mayor and the police. They did what they thought was right. This wasn't about any outside pressure. Nobody in the street was yelling justice for Jeff, he said. It speaks to the need for reform in internal affairs. And that lawyer is talking about a white victim. It's very, very interesting. I want to see how the white racists, again, white on white crime. What are white people going to do about white on white crime? A white officer murdered a white suicidal man who needed help, who was calling 911 because he needed help. I'm upset with that. That pisses me the fuck off. You are to help people in those scenarios. I have battle buddies. I'm a combat veteran, rated at 100% with the damn VA. I've had battle buddies in the exact same scenario who have guns too. I want them to get help, not murder. That's why I'm so upset about this, because I know so many combat veterans who in that exact same scenario get their head bust open, getting tased, getting maced, getting shot, dogs sicked on them. And pigs like this, pieces of garbage like this motherfucker right here, will do it to one of my damn battle buddies. Because you did it to somebody who wasn't even in the goddamn military. That's how I know you would definitely do it to fucking me, if I ever called out for damn help. So, once again, I don't think men with fucking guns, men with military gear, should be responding to that bullshit. I think men with guns should respond to dangerous threats, not men who are suicidal. Remember guys, I only care about black victims though, right? By the way, Mike Hunt, you can join my Discord and we can have a nice conversation. Mike, you can join my Discord and we can have a nice conversation. If you're not a bitch. By the way, DM College Chaos, thank you for being a good moderator. I see you in the chat there. I support you, sir. Let's see here. Did you a favor. Good stuff. Yeah. Because Mike Hunt was being a little bitch. He knows how to actually reach me. I'm not hiding from anybody. He knows how to reach me, but he doesn't want to reach me. So let's get into some more bad cop no donuts here. We have another one here that's gonna be kind of funny. It's gonna be kind of funny. This one's gonna be kind of this one's gonna make you. This one's gonna tickle you. It's gonna warm your cuckles, man. Cause it sure warmed mine. It sure warmed mine. Oh man. So I'm gonna run the show a little bit longer than usual. I'm gonna take a little bit of breaks and stuff. And I'm gonna be showing you some videos, some long form types of videos that I've been doing. But let's get into this one here. This one's gonna be a little bit spicy sauce. This was gonna make you laugh a little bit. All right, got another bad cop note doing that for you. This is from the Reno Gazette-Journal. Sparks police officer sue city for $1 million after suspension for social media threats. So this guy made threats on social media, and now he wants to sue the city because he got suspended. Listen, When I read this headline, right? When I read this headline, I nearly fell out of my chair. I thought I had died and I had went to heaven because I figured that everyone's personal heaven is what they love the most, and it's gonna last for a fucking eternity. And I thought to myself, my personal heaven, just one of them is seeing nothing but bad cop no donut headlines, but the funniest shit ever. And this shit here, how you gonna sue a city because they suspended you because you made threats on social media when you are a public servant? Think about that shit for a second. Let that ruminate. Just, oh my God. Just imagine you go on social media, right? You make threats. Your boss fires you. And then you have the nerve to turn around and sue your boss because they fired you. Listen, there have been McDonald's workers who have been fired from making a hamburger wrong. This man just got suspended. Not even fired, suspended. And he's suing. And these are the same type of people, right, who want to call other people goddamn Karens. It's just, don't you just find that precious? Let's get into this article here, man. I found it precious. I found it just precious. Let's get into this article. Sparks police officer George Forbush is suing the city of Sparks and 3 individual city staff members for $1 million in alleged damages related to being placed on administrative leave and suspended without pay last year. Forbush was placed on administrative leave by the city on August 18, 2020 for social media posts threatening members of the Black Lives Matter movement. His lawsuit argues the disciplinary action violated the First Amendment. His lawsuit argues the disciplinary action violated his First Amendment rights. So let me get this straight. You are a member of the government, right? You are a member of the government. You made threats. Threats. That's what they're calling this. They're calling this threats. You are lucky you are not in jail right now, sir. You made threats, right? And now you want to argue the First Amendment. It's just amazing how officers don't even understand the goddamn law. Under the Twitter handle at Punisher8205, Forbush tweeted, "I'm going to build a couple of AR pistols just for BLM, Antifa, or active shooters who cross my path and can't maintain social distancing." Wow. You are an officer of the law, right? Who can't maintain social distancing. Do you understand how fucking insane that is? That this man said this on social media. That is insane. You are a police officer. You have the gun and the fucking badge. I'm going to read that to you one more time. And he even named himself Punisher. Law enforcement, they love to use the Punisher symbol. The fucking skull, the freaking skull goddamn symbol. In case, we have some boomers out there who don't understand what the Punisher logo is. I'm going to show it to you real quick. They love to use this logo and they don't understand who the Punisher is. So the Punisher, right? Because you definitely see cops use this Punisher logo a lot, right? A lot. See, here is one here that is in the Blue Lives Matter pattern, right? Punisher skull, blue line sticker, and you see this all the time. But the Punisher was a comic book character from Marvel Comics who was a vigilante who unlike Daredevil and Spider-Man, he actually kills bad guys. In fact, one of the big storylines, if you watch the Netflix series Daredevil, they actually feature Frank Castle, the Punisher, with Daredevil arguing about the ethics of crime fighting. Daredevil says, hey, keep him alive, bring him to justice, because Daredevil is Matt Murdock, who is a lawyer. And Punisher, he's like, kill him. I'm tired of freaking locking him up. You lock him up. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to kill him. So, again, he's a vigilante that they are using the symbol of a man that they would have to fucking arrest if he actually fucking existed. So, it's just amazing. But again, his Twitter handle is Punisher8205. And he tweeted, "I'm going to build a couple of AR pistols just for BLM, Antifa, or active shooters who cross my path and can't maintain social distancing." It is just amazing. You were a police officer. Right? That is fucking crazy. After reviewing more than 700 Twitter posts by Ford Bush following his administrative leave, the city decided to suspend Ford Bush for 4 days without pay on December 4th, according to the lawsuit. The suspension term was chosen by the city as 1 day for each of 4 posts they found worthy of discipline. So, wait. This man literally said he's building AR pistols. AR pistols. And again, if you don't know what an AR pistol is, I'm going to help you out with that too. All right. An AR pistol, because people don't understand. You can get a pretty much a mini AR-15, but it's classified as a pistol. I'm going to show you how dumb gun control truly is in just a second. I'm going to take a quick detour from this article here. So that is an AR pistol, right? That is classified as an actual pistol. That's classified as a pistol, even though it looks like a freaking rifle. Because of the length of it, it's classified as a pistol, and it can't really have a standard butt stock, which is why you're noticing the actual stocks to a lot of these AR pistols. They're kind of built like that. These are called stabilizing braces, right? And these aren't considered to be standard stocks because you can't shoulder the weapon. You can have a shoulder brace, but you can't shoulder it fully. If the ATF or anybody who's a bootlicker or a Karen catches you do that, they can call authorities and you could be punished for it if they can present evidence of that. So again, he's gonna build some of these just for citizens who happen to come too close to him or he doesn't like. That's an actual threat, an actual credible threat, because he's an officer who has access to guns. He's an officer who has access to power. He's an officer who can stop anybody for any reason. If he sees a freaking Antifa or BLM sticker or logo on the backside of someone's car, he can just pull them over. So that's an actual incredible threat this man made. He only got suspended. And now his Karen bitch ass is suing the city because he got suspended. Unbelievable. And this is an actual picture of him. This little bitch here, man. Unbelievable. Just insane to me. Insane that we tolerate this. Insane that we tolerate this bullshit. That story is unbelievable. So let's see. No one really matters but cats. Justice for Jeff. Absolutely, I agree with you. Cause Chaos says Punisher kill crooked cops. The irony, yeah, he actually did kill a lot of crooked cops. He absolutely did. Punisher was known for that. In fact, that was kind of his thing. Especially when officers would work with like the freaking mob, he would go out of his way to freaking kill him. He would make it. He would make it a goddamn point. By the way, no one really matters but cats. You have not been added as a moderator to the channel because I appreciate it whenever you come and like my stuff, you comment on my stuff. So guess what? You're not power here. If you see anybody who doesn't have a freaking their natural hammer, don't just automatically eat them. But if they start saying dumb shit, you're more than welcome to. Just like DM Cosmic Chaos, because I actually trust you now. All right, so let's get back into the bad cop no donuts. I saw one as I'm doing this article here. It is oh man, this one here is special too. I'm gonna take a quick break in a second after this one, but let's get into this one here. This one is special too. I'm in love with this story. I am in love with this story. I am in love with this story right here, right? These stories here, I am in love with these kind of stories. No one really matters but cat says, thank you, babe. You're welcome, and I salute you. I'm in love with this story. Let's get into this piece here before I take a quick break. All right, from the Reno Gazette Journal, another bad cop, no donut for you. WCSO sergeant on administrative leave after being arrested on suspicion of DUI. Man, oh man, they love telling you to not drink and drive, but once again, they can't seem to stop doing it. They got themselves. It's just amazing to me. Let's get into this piece here. Washoe County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Jason Wood is on administrative leave after he was arrested Friday on suspicion of driving under the influence for the second time. Wait, hold on. For the second time? Wait, he did it one time? And now he kept his job? and then he got a chance to do it again? Wait a minute. Ain't no goddamn way. I don't believe this. I refuse to believe that's accurate. There's no way there was more than one time this man was arrested for driving while under the fucking suspicion, while under the influence, and he kept his job after the first time? Wait, I got so many fucking questions, man. I got so many fucking questions. He faces 2 additional charges of speeding over the posted speed limit and improper lane change, according to court records. Wood is scheduled for an arraignment hearing on May 13th. The criminal investigation is being handled by Reno Police, said WCSO Public Information Officer Sarah Johns. Additional personnel action may be taken pending the outcome of WCSO's internal investigation. He is also being placed in another division within the sheriff's office. The Washoe County Sheriff's Office does not condone this alleged behavior. Sheriff Balam has made it very clear that we are a family and are here for one another, meaning we are always one call away. A phone call to a trusted friend or a ride share or taxi cab for a ride home is always a person's best option, John said in an email statement. So wait a minute. I still, no. Sarah Johns and Sheriff Balam, I gotta ask y'all both a goddamn question. I'm gonna read this shit here for you, because I just, that first sentence, that grinds my fucking gears. That blows my mind. Washoe County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Jason Wood is on administrative leave after he was arrested Friday on suspicion of driving under the influence for the second time. What the fuck do you mean? What the fuck do you mean? That the Washoe County Sheriff's Office does not condone this alleged behavior. Well, you condoned it the first time, didn't you? He still has his goddamn job. This man has done this more than once. How is this possible? Why are people not in the fucking streets? Why are people not in the fucking streets right now? That's my question. That's my goddamn question. In 2016, Wood was also arrested on suspicion of DUI and charged for failing to decrease his speed. He was arrested to complete. In 2016, Wood was also arrested on suspicion of DUI and charged for failing to decrease his speed. He was sentenced to complete 9 hours of DUI school and attend a victim impact panel. In 2017, Wood released his canine on a man after he surrendered to the police. Wait a minute. So I'm reading the headline. Again, I want to pause here for a second. Read the headline. The headline says WCSO Sergeant on administrative leave after being arrested on suspicion of DUI. So that headline says you would suspect this is a first-time offense. You wouldn't also suspect this guy is guilty of police brutality. But as you're reading, this is basically why I do these videos, because if you don't actually dig into the actual articles, you will miss these pieces. You will miss these gems. You will miss these gems. And let's go down here. I guarantee you it's gonna get even more juicier. I have not seen this article yet. I'm discovering this as you are. I am coming along for the ride too, right? Video from the deputy's dash cameras show Eugenio Corona. Video from the deputy's dash camera showed Eugenio Corona fleeing from the police, crashing his truck into a fence, running a short distance, and then dropping to his knees while placing his hands behind his head. Woods then released his canine, Ronnie. Wood commanded Ronnie to get that bad guy as the dog latched onto Corona's arm, biting him on the bicep and chest, the lawsuit said. A second Deputy Francisco Gamboa, punched Corona in the face while yelling at him to stop resisting, according to prior reporting by the Reno Gazette-Journal. So holy shit, you're getting mauled by a dog. You've already dropped to your knees, hands behind your head. The dash cam footage shows that. You drop to your knees. The dude says, get that bad guy. He unleashes the cop on you. The other cop starts beating your ass. Listen, there is no way that, God damn, even if the man is resisting, maybe the reason why he's resisting is because a fucking dog is tearing his ass up and another guy is punching me in the damn face. Maybe that's why he's fighting back, because at that point, it's a fight for your damn life, right? If you're getting bit up by a damn dog and punched from another goddamn source, right? And I gotta say, wouldn't you start fighting then? I mean, a dog is tearing your ass up. Your natural response is gonna be fight back, because it's a fucking dog biting your ass up. Washoe County later settled a resulting excessive force lawsuit for $17,500 in August of 2017. What? God damn, this is. I thought this story was gonna be wild, but this story is absolutely fucking bonkers. This story is absolutely fucking bonkers. Holy shit, bro. I've seen crazy, but this is some next level shit. Yo, that was wild, man. That was wild, man. Yo, that was fucking wild, man. Holy shit. That's going to be a good bad cop, no donut, man. That's going to be a good bad cop, no donut, man. That's going to be a good one. Man, we got another one from Reno. Yo, what's going on in Reno right now, bro? Oh my God, we got to cover this. This is gonna be probably like a minute or less here. All right, let's get into this one here. This one's gonna be wild. We're gonna do one more. Then we're gonna take a quick 10 to 20 minute break, and we're gonna be right back. Okay. All right, so let's get into this one here. This one is fucking crazy, bro. Yo, this shit is wild, man. Listen, this shit is wild, man. All right, let's get to this. We got a crazy bad cop no donut for you. This one's going to be pretty wild. Watch the whole video because it's going to be pretty wild. Reno Police Community Services Officer arrested on suspicion of DUI child neglect from the Reno Gazette-Journal. The Washoe County Sheriff's Office arrested a community service officer with the Reno... The Washoe County Sheriff's Office arrested a community service officer with the Reno Department Wednesday night, according to the Sheriff's Office. Charlene Reardon, 29, was booked into the Washoe County Jail early Thursday morning on one count of driving under the influence above the legal limit and 2 counts of child abuse or neglect. Reno Police Chief Jason Soto said Thursday that Reardon has been placed on administrative leave without pay. The case remains under investigation. Community service officers are non-sworn personnel who perform police duties that are not hazardous while assigned in the field or at a neighborhood substation, according to a 2006 Reno Police Department general order. They aren't required to complete peace officer standards and training certification, but are accountable for following all departmental general orders, policies, and procedures applicable to their position. And I'm pretty sure that one of their policies and procedures is not abusing and neglecting your children and driving while under the fucking influence. Unbelievable. Man, I tell you, you think that officers can't find new and interesting ways to find themselves in trouble. But man, it's like they're trying to get caught. It's like they're trying. All right, that's a short one, man. God damn. You see what I mean? Like, that's fucking wild, man. What in the hell? What in the hell? That is wild, man. That is wild, man. Oh, man. I thought I had seen it all. But, oh man, that is just precious. That is just precious. I am in love with stories like that. You know what I mean? Stories like that makes me happy. So let's see. So tell me, guys. Tell me. I like doing bad cop, no donut. Do you want me to balance it more with corrupted files? So I'm just curious. So I like doing the bad cop, no donut thing because it's just I don't like police officers, and you know I like to tell you about it. It's content that I enjoy making, and I realize there is definitely going to be, an audience for that. For people out there who have been abused by police officers. So anyways, we're going to be right back. We'll take a quick break. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to go take a quick drink, use the restroom real quick, and we'll be back with more Pitchfork Podcast. Trust me, this show is going to run for a little bit longer than usual. All right. So we are back. All right. Let's see here. Dion Cosby says, I like the format, how it is. All right. So we'll keep it as is. Let's get back into some bad cop, no donut. Now, we got one update to a story. And we're going to get into this ABC News story here. And it's going to be very, very interesting because I want people to see this. I want people to see the truth. A lot of people lie about these stories. A lot of people lie about the Breonna Taylor thing. I want people to see the truth. All right. So let's get into the story here. Actually, before we get into that story here, Cosmic Squirrel says, hey, what's up? What's up, Cosmic Squirrel? I salute you, sir. Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast. Let's get into this live edit here. Have a sip of my drink. All right, got another bad cop. Not doing that for you from ABC News. Officers shouldn't have fired into Breonna Taylor's home, report says. So it's going to be a bit of an update to the Breonna Taylor story because there's actually been some reports that have been released after that, some studies. Some people have been looking into it. So I want to see what the updates are. Circumstances made it unsafe to take a single shot, says internal report by Bill Hutchison. It's an 8-minute read. So let's get into this story here because I'm very, very curious to see the updates. Newly released documents from an internal probe into the fatal shooting of Breonna Taylor shows 2 investigators determined that none of the officers involved in the serving of a 2020 narcotics warrant at a 26-year-old's apartment should have fired their gun. But the findings were contradicted by senior officials in the Louisville Metro Police Department. According to a new report from 2 investigators. Sergeant Andrew Mayer of the Police Department's Professional Standards Unit determined in a preliminary report dated December 4th that the 3 officers involved in the March 13, 2020 shooting should have held their fire after Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, shot one of them, according to the documents obtained by ABC News. So that's very, very interesting. And this is from an actual internal probe. So again, these are other cops saying this. They took a total of 32 shots when the provided circumstances made it unsafe to take a single shot. This is how the wrong person was shot and killed, Mayer wrote, according to the report. Mayer made a preliminary finding that Louisville Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, who was shot in the leg during the incident, and former officers Miles Cosgrove and Brett Hankerson all allegedly violated department use of force policy by ignoring the significant risk of hitting someone who did not pose a threat, the internal report reads. In its preliminary report, Mayer wrote that deadly force should only have been used against Walker, the person who presented a deadly threat, by firing one shot at a team of officers who ran down Taylor's door and entered the apartment to serve the warrant. Mattingly, according to Mayer's report, should not have taken the shot because Walker, who had a permit to carry a handgun, wasn't a clear, isolated target after he ducked into a back bedroom at the end of a dimly lit hallway. So once again, it was very, very interesting that at the time I was saying the exact same thing. When you're taking fire, you immediately seek cover and you assess the situation. You pick out targets. You don't just start firing all nilly-willy. And I learned that from my combat training, because when you're fighting in urban environments, man, you know, this is basically why the Taliban would basically use women and children. They would use them as freaking shields, because they would just use them, you know, when we would kick in doors, they would just line them up, and we had to actually isolate targets, or we just could not fire. And sometimes that did get some guys killed, that did get some guys injured, but that's a part of the job. You can't just start firing willy-nilly, because what if you start shooting and that bullet goes through apartments and it hits a pregnant woman? Because, by the way, some of the rounds started traveling to other people's apartments, and one of those apartments had a pregnant woman in them. This is why you immediately, even though your partner got hit, you get him, you drag him to safety, you find cover, and then you return fire. Because guess what? If you just start firing immediately, you could actually hit your own battle buddies while you're in that house. This is why you immediately seek cover. Unless you are 100% guaranteed and you know what you're firing at is a bad guy and not an innocent civilian. That's why you don't do that. That's why that preliminary report said that. That's why. See, once again, my military experience and my use of force experience when I worked law enforcement and my experience of being an actual soldier, these guys, they play soldier, but I've been there and I actually fucking done that. So they play soldier. I don't play soldier. I actually fucking did it. That's why I said you cannot just start firing immediately, because if you do that, you risk civacs, or that's a short abbreviated jargon for civilian casualties. That's what we call them in the military. It's various things that we call them, but civacs was definitely one of them. You want to avoid that, because guess what? Not only did you kill an innocent person, you also kill a person that was innocent and also not suspected of a crime, right? And not convicted of a crime. You're not a judge and jury. You are a peace officer. You are a public servant. A servant. Not executioners, not Judge Dredd. A public servant. You present the people to the judges and the juries to get judged. You don't take it upon yourself to just execute people. And you also have to wait to fire. You don't just start firing as soon as someone shoots at you. And do you want to know why that is? Because that's also another way to get set up for an ambush. It's something in the military that we call getting tunnel vision. For example, this is basically how some guys got freaking flanked. If someone's firing at you from one direction, right? Well, gunshots are very, very loud. So in gunshots, let me tell you, they tend to draw attention. So you're going to be focused on that one direction when someone else could be sneaking up right behind you or to the side of you and start freaking firing. This is why you immediately pull back. You look around, you assess your surroundings, and then you return fire. You don't immediately just start doing it. Now, I understand in the heat of the situation, it's very tempting. It's extremely tempting. But you must remember your training and common sense. Because if you're sitting there getting tunnel vision, just firing over 30 shots in one direction, well, not only are you risking the general public by doing that, but on top of that, you're risking getting ambushed because you're setting up tunnel vision. And if you didn't have tunnel vision, then please explain to me, how did rounds end up in someone else's apartment? I'm just curious. How did that happen? If you had situational awareness, if you were paying attention to your damn surroundings, how does that happen? Just asking out of curiosity. Ms. Taylor's safety should have been considered before he maddeningly returned fire, Mayer wrote. Mayer's preliminary report findings were supported by his lieutenant, Jeff Artman. While Walker was not injured in the shooting, Taylor was shot 6 times, including at least once by Mattingly, according to Mayer's report. An FBI ballistics report found that Cosgrove fired the fatal shot, while Hankinson, who was standing outside of the apartment, fired 10 errant rounds through a sliding glass door that had the blinds drawn. Hankinson was the only officer indicted on criminal charges in the shooting, but not for Taylor's death. Hankinson was charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment in the first degree because bullets he allegedly fired missed Taylor but penetrated a wall of the residence and entered a neighboring apartment occupied by a child, a man, and a pregnant woman. So once again, Breonna Taylor lost her life, and the walls got more justice than poor Breonna Taylor. The walls got more fucking justice than Breonna Taylor. Hankinson pleaded not guilty to the charges in September and is awaiting trial. While Cosgrove and Hankinson were both fired for violating police department policy stemming from the shooting, Mattingly was cleared of wrongdoing by former interim Louisville police chief Yvette Gentry, who overruled Mayer's recommendation that all 3 officers face discipline for violating department policy. Gentry wrote in a memo that Mattingly identified Walker as having a gun in his hand, posing an immediate threat of death or serious injury to an officer. Sergeant Mattingly's actions therefore need to be examined through the lens of what he reasonably believed at the time he discharged his weapon at an identified target. at the end of a dimly lit hallway after being shot himself, Gentry's memo reads. Gentry, who came out of retirement to fill the position of interim chief, retired again in January when former Atlanta police chief Erica Shields was appointed to be Louisville's new top cop. As a civilian, Gentry released a statement on Friday defending her decision. I fired people that some believe should have been suspended. I reprimanded people some believe said should have been exonerated, and I overturned what was believed was not an appropriate for this situation. I'm going to do that again. I fired people that some believe should have been suspended. I reprimanded people some believe some people said should have been exonerated. And I overturned what was believed was not appropriate for the situation, Gentry said. Gentry, however, added, I still believe in my soul Breonna Taylor should be alive. Interesting. So let me get this straight. And by the way, the Louisville Metro Police Department did not comment on mayor's report. So you believe that Breonna Taylor should still be alive, huh? So if you truly believe that, the people who killed her or had a hand in her death, do you think it's possible that those people should have been brought to justice and that your actions prevented that, Miss Gentry? I'm just curious. I'm just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. Yeah, I like doing updates to Bad Cop No Donuts, man. Let's go ahead and get into the comment section here. Let's see. All right. DM Cause Chaos says, kill innocent civilians always cause chaos is the best. It's the best recruiter for groups. Cosmic Squirrel says, true Cosmic Chaos. Absolutely. So we're going to get into some more stories here. We got some listen, the crazy part about Bad Cop No Donut, right, is that I set it to a 24-hour period. I don't go beyond that usually with every new episode, right? I just I go to next day, 24-hour period. All right. All right, let's see here. So, we're going to have another Bad Cop No Donut for you. It's going to be another spicy one. All right. Here we go. Put a stop to that right there. Pause that. Let's pause so we don't end up slowing down my stream. All right, skip that. All right, there we go. All right, so here we go. We're going to do another Bad Cop No Donut here. All right, we got another Bad Cop No Donut for you. This is coming from TC Palm. Indian River County Sheriff's Deputy fired after domestic violence charge in Port St. Lucie. All right, let's get into this story. Let's find out what this is all about. An Indian River County Jail Corrections Deputy was fired Sunday following a domestic violence charge against him, Sheriff Eric Flowers announced. Flowers said former Corporal Christopher Eric Swindell had been charged Sunday by the Port St. Lucie Police Department. The sheriff, in a video posted on YouTube and Twitter, said he sent staff to the St. Lucie County Jail to serve Swindell notice of his termination. Flowers said Swindell's charge involved alcohol. It was the second time the sheriff's office had dealt with a drinking-related charge. It was the second time the sheriff's office had dealt with a drinking-related incident for the former corporal. Corporal Flowers said, for the prior case, the sheriff's office, Internal Affairs Office, investigated and recommended a suspension for Swindell. So it's the first time, right? They didn't learn a lesson the first time. This is basically why I don't take what the sheriff says seriously. Because if you took what he says seriously now, right, then the question becomes, why didn't you take it seriously when there was an alcohol-related incident with this guy the last time? Why didn't you take it seriously the last time? Why wasn't he fired the first time? There are McDonald's workers, right, who are fired for making hamburgers incorrectly. You can have alcohol-related incidents. How many alcohol-related incidents can you have at your job and still keep your job? I'm just asking. I'm asking you, the audience, how many alcohol-related incidents can you have at your job and still keep your job or not face serious punishments? Serious punishments. When Flowers took office in January, he said he met with Swindle about the previous incident. That is... So you met with him, you didn't actually fire him. You just met with him, you didn't actually fire him. That is so precious to me. I find that to be so precious, man. I find it to be so precious. Precious. Just precious. This is it. This is the end of the line. Flowers said he told the corporal. He assured me he was committed to our agency. Unfortunately, he just didn't follow through with his end of the bargain. According to the St. Lucie County Jail, Swindle 36 was booked at the facility at 7:26 a.m. Sunday and was being held without bail. That is precious. There's a little bit more here. Affidavits from Sunday's charge against Swindle were not available Sunday. Port St. Lucie police could not be reached for comment. That is precious. So you had more than one incident and you didn't get rid of him the first time. That is unbelievable. And some innocent woman out there had to suffer. Some innocent woman had to get beaten because this sheriff didn't do the right thing the first time. And that's how it usually goes. This is why I do what I do with Bad Cop No Donut. This is basically why I do what I do with Bad Cop No Donut, because I want people to see the pattern, the amount of times people could have intervened and did nothing. The amount of times people could have intervened and did nothing. That's the point of Bad Cop No Donut, is to make a track record of all this shit. Every day you get new videos that exposes the bad cops. I want you to see this stuff. I want you to understand why I do this, because I do this for stories just like this. Because if I didn't do this every day, if people like me, if other content creators didn't do what I'm doing and others are doing every day, people could come to you and say, well, the bad cops is only a very, very small problem. Bullshit. Because I come on this show, right? I set the actual Google search parameters for 24 hours. Every time I do the Pitchfork podcast live show. And every video like this is actually a live edit, right? A live edit of the actual live Pitchfork podcast show. And the fact that I can give you this every day while setting the search parameters on Google to find these stories for 24 hours should tell you all you gotta know. That should tell you all you gotta fucking know. That really, when it all boils down to it, there is no such thing as a good cop. The fact that I can have so much content every goddamn day tells you there is no such thing as good apples and bad apples. There's only poison apples, and they're called pigs. Let's get into the comment section here. I know that I'm fire live. I know I am. I'm a monster live, man. I have to do live edits to kind of edit out some of the stuttering. I know I'm monster live, but that's what I do, baby. That's what I do. I do it for you. All right, so Cosmic Squirrel says 0. Out of God's knowledge says I would be fired or charged. Absolutely. Cosmic Squirrel says 0 for me, but I'm not carrying a gun, so I don't know. Laugh out loud. I love you, brother, man. I love you to death, man. You my boy. So I'm not carrying a gun, so I don't know. I feel you, man. I feel you on that one. I feel you on that one, man. I really do. I really do. I feel you on that one, man. I feel you on that one. I saw this story. This story, I think, was precious. Port St. Lucie police text messages. I'm just curious. There's a story. that I just saw that I thought was precious, but I think I'm gonna leave it alone. But the reason why I do this live show, man, is just so you can see how I reach some of the conclusions that I reach, and I do edit out a lot of things that I say. So don't think that I'm being like deceitful or anything. I do still leave up the Pitchfork podcast. So if if you notice, I go out of my way to show you how I do things because, I want you to see the process of making the content. When you see extra stuff added to it, then you definitely see the amount of effort that I put into it. And I don't think many people can do this live the way that I do it, or the way that some others do it, because it's very difficult to reach a reasonable conclusion quickly. But that's the difference between experience and rhetoric. Right. So there is no, that's I'm looking for some more bad cop no donuts, but I don't want to cover low hanging fruit, right? I want to cover things that are actually juicy. Let's get into the comment section here. Let's see. It's always another bad one. Lots beating their wives and kids, and they smell alcohol on my coworker, and he was out of the door and fired before he could say I'm not drunk. Cosmic Squirrel says I think they got to be born to be a cop, like you were a breech birth, and mama hated you, so you get sour on the world and hate everyone. Theory. Dean Cosmic Chaos says they Thanos snapped through. Yeah. Yeah, they certainly did. They certainly did. They certainly did. So there's a few more stories that I didn't necessarily pick up on. And there was one story about these cops that were speeding. And that story was precious. I want to find that story because I want to go over that. I want to show you this story because it was precious. It was just precious. But I got a few more stories I'm going to cover for you. I want to find this one. Because there was one that I just, God, it was so crazy. But tell me, is there any updates on the news that you guys want me to necessarily cover? Cosmic Girl says, yeah, everyone has standards chaos. Oh man. That is precious. That is that is precious. There's one story. There's a story that you guys have to hear that I have not covered. It was originally published on April 14th, but it wasn't I didn't cover it. And this story is crazy. I'm telling you, this story is freaking wild, man. So Port Allen police officer placed on unpaid leave after allegedly using stun gun on on a handcuffed 67-year-old. Holy smokes. Wow. So I'm going to cover this story. It's pretty wild. And then we're going to take a break after that. A little 10, maybe 20-minute break on that one. It's going to be pretty wild. So let's go ahead and get into this one here. All right, so we got a bad cop, no donut. This is from WAFB 9. The investigators, Port Allen police officer placed on unpaid leave after allegedly using stun gun on handcuffed 67-year-old man. So this is gonna be pretty wild. I want to see the video. I am very tickled to death. It's very, very unfortunate. You know, you don't want to see that kind of abuse, but I want to see the explaining, the justifying that's going to happen here, because I'm pretty sure no one's going to just say this shit was goddamn wrong. I'm pretty sure that only the actual journalists here is going to call this shit wrong, but the bootlickers and the Blue Lives Matter crowd, they're going to find some kind of way to say this is actually right. They're going to find some kind of way. I guarantee you.
It was all in exchange to delay a hearing on his future with the department. Investigator Scott.
Start back over.
Investigator Scotty Hunter told you about a Port Allen police officer accused of using his taser on a 67-year-old man. That officer is no longer being paid with your tax dollars. As Scotty reports tonight, it was all in exchange to delay a hearing on his future with the department.
Wow.
Port Allen police officer Nolan D. Hahn III is no longer being paid tonight after the city council voted to delay a hearing to decide his fate.
Thank you for your courtesy.
Just days after the 9 News investigators exposed the attack he allegedly carried out on a 67-year-old man in police custody, the council deciding tonight they would wait 3 weeks to take up the matter, giving his attorney time to be brought up to speed on the case.
Wow. So this man, I don't want to hear how a 67-year-old man needs to have a taser used on him when he's handcuffed. He's already handcuffed. He's 67 years old, 3 years from 70. I'm pretty sure if you are a police officer and if you are fit for duty, you can handle a handcuffed 67-year-old senior citizen. I'm pretty sure you can handle that without abusing that man. And once again, it's a black officer. I'm part of Black Lives Matter, and I'm criticizing this black officer. So as you can see, the color of the officer does not matter to me. What matters to me is that a citizen was abused, a tax-paying citizen, a senior citizen, a vulnerable person who was already handcuffed, and you abuse a handcuffed man. That's all that matters to me. I don't give a damn if the victim of police violence happens to be white. I don't care if the officer is black. Abuse is abuse, and pigs are pigs.
We're very appreciative of the council giving us an opportunity to review the following information regarding this matter. I understand that the city wants to move expeditiously on this matter, but also does Officer Dion. He would like to resolve this matter also.
You know what? And that's the lawyer representing this goddamn cop. And I want to take a quick pause there to kind of point some out to freaking bootlickers. I want to point some out to freaking bootlickers. Bootlickers, I want you to understand something. When I say ACAB, when I say I don't like cops, when I say that cops need to be fixed, when I say that cops are useless, when I say that citizens would do a much better job of policing their own communities, you know, actual community policing, okay? When I say things like that, I'm not just talking about white officers. And I'm not just talking about white lawyers and white judges when I say the criminal injustice system. I also mean the black ones who freaking uphold it, because guess what? Even during slavery days, we had house Negroes. And not all skin folk are kinfolk. That is a saying in the black community. That's a saying where I come from. Not all skin folk are kinfolk. And these two coons, that lawyer and the officer for abusing citizens, and the lawyer for representing the goddamn pig. Both of them are trash. Both of them would be damn house Negroes. In my opinion. That's just my opinion. All right. But let's get back into the actual story. I want you to see this. I want you to see this unbelievable bullshit.
Officer Dehan allegedly used his taser on the 67-year-old after responding to an incident on Avenue C last month. That man was handcuffed and in the back of a unit at the time. According to these records the 9 News investigators obtained, the officer screamed at the man several times and tased him twice within 10 seconds. The situation.
So this is a black officer abusing a black man, and I'm talking about it. I'm doing a video on it because, again, the whole narrative, right? The narrative is always that, oh, you only care when it's a white officer who shoots a black man. It's a black officer who abuses, right? Who is abusing people, right? And yet here I am talking about it. So once again, I don't want to hear that shit from damn bootlickers anymore now. I don't want to hear that shit.
The situation was so bad, the man had to be rushed to the hospital after 50,000 volts of electricity were sent pulsing through his body. Tonight, the officer's attorney, Victor Woods, tells me it's only fair to give him a chance to prepare since the case is moving ahead so quickly.
Officer Dehan received notice of the termination hearing on April 12th. He immediately contacted me on April 13th, and we're here today on April 14th for the hearing.
Tonight, Dehan is not patrolling the streets of Port Allen and has agreed to not collect money from taxpayers there in exchange for more time to plead his case.
So basically, imagine for a second that you're on your job and you abuse a senior citizen, and I want you to imagine you asking your job, hey, listen, if you promise to not pay me, right, don't send me to jail yet, right, and just hold my jaw locked there. Just don't pay me. On what other job on planet fucking Earth could you do this shit? On what other job on planet fucking Earth could you do this shit? Please let me know. Please let me know. You have this goddamn coon pig, this fucking road pirate, who took a 67-year-old man and sent 50,000 volts more than once through this man's body. And I own tasers, so I know how that shit feels. I've been tased before. I've tased myself. I've been tased for training. I know that shit feels like. And you did that to somebody who's over the age of 60, who had to be rushed to the damn hospital. Wow. And once again, the officer is black, and I'm a part of Black Lives Matter, and I'm black too, and I'm talking about him. So bootlickers, I never want to hear you bring that shit up again. Well, you only care about black victims and when white officers shoot them. Here's another goddamn example in which you are wrong. Here's another goddamn example in which you are wrong. Unbelievable. You know, and what makes this so, you know, just like with the Karen Gardner case, you know, the case in Colorado where, you know, you had cops who were abusing this 70-year-old dementia patient, man. Just like that I'm there, the disrespect and the abuse towards our seniors from cops is just disgusting. And I think that is a part of, you know, one of many things that's kind of changing public opinion towards police. Because when you start abusing people's grandmas and people's grandpas, man, no one's gonna tolerate that shit now. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I don't care what color you are, black, white, green. I don't care what color the goddamn officer is. A pig is a pig, and a fucking senior citizen abuser is a fucking abuser. I don't make fucking exceptions. All right, that's gonna be another story there. Let's go ahead and look at the comment section here. Cosmic Squirrel says you think so, but they can't handle 14-year-old girls, so no one really matters. But Cat says that's fucked up. No one and also says I see they suspended his ass without pay. In my honest opinion, that's why he suspended his pay. How many white cops have you seen get their pay cut for Forced leave. I've never seen that happen once. Dion Cause Chaos says, yeah, I agree with you absolutely. Dion Cause Chaos says there's a special place in hell for people who abuse kids and elders. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Cause Squirrel says they only started cutting their pay since Floyd murder. Like I said, they are twisted, hateful people. I'm beginning to believe it, bro. Yeah, man, that's some wild shit though, isn't it, man? Like, god damn. Like, what's the? How do you justify that, man? That's horrible. That's horrible, man. How do you justify that shit? That's horrible, man. That's fucking terrible. You know? But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see here. So we got another one here. And we got another one here. There's a story here. That I want you guys to see. No. I'm going to leave that one alone. But let's see here. Cosgrove says, no humanity, no empathy, psychopaths. Well, yeah, it's just some absolutely crazy shit. There's a few more stories here that I want you guys to see. All right, so let's get into the story here. It's from Sacramento B here. Let's go ahead and hit this right there. All right, here we go. So we got another story here. Another bad cop, no donut. All right, so we got another bad cop, no donut here. Sacramento police officer arrested on domestic violence charges, placed on leave from the Sacramento Bee. Once again, man, I tell you, if you're a woman, you might want to, you know how you go on dating sites, right? You always see these chicks looking for damn cops and guys in uniform, man. You might want to avoid cops, man, because they beating the hell out of these damn women, man. It's unbelievable. And I don't want to make light of that, but it's really, really sad. And I cover these stories because it is so damn sad. But man, if you are a chick, you might want to not date cops. I'm just telling you, man. I'm just telling you. A Sacramento police officer has been arrested on domestic violence charges in connection with the incident that resulted in visible injuries to the victim, officials announced Friday afternoon. It's the second time this week that the department has announced the arrest of one of its own. Justin David Shepard, 30, was arrested Friday on charges related to felony Justin David Shepard, 30, was arrested Friday on charges related to felony domestic violence, according to a news release from the Sacramento Police Department. Shepard has been working for the department for about 3 years. Shepard was booked shortly before 5:30 p.m. Friday on 4 felony charges. 4 felony charges. He was arrested on suspicion of corporal injury on a spouse or cohabitant, domestic violence, false imprisonment, making criminal threats against a victim of death or great bodily injury, and making a threat with a gun, according to jail records. Holy smoke. So if all this is freaking true, he falsely imprisoned his spouse or significant other. You made threats with a gun. You make threats of death or great bodily injury, domestic violence, and corporal injury on that spouse or cohabitant. So if this is all true, this man is a goddamn monster. If this is all true, if true, this makes this man a damn monster. He was released from Sacramento County main jail on a $50,000 bond Friday night, record show. That's my dog in the background. Azul. Shh. I'm recording here, buddy. Thank you. Police officials said California law prohibits any person to be an officer after a domestic violence conviction. Shepard has been placed on administrative leave and stripped of his peace officer powers as the administrative and criminal process continues, according to the department. On Thursday, the police department was notified of the alleged domestic violence incident that occurred in the Notamás area about a week ago, according to the news release. Police officials said the victim suffered visible injuries that did not require hospitalization. Investigators determined that Shepard was off duty when the incident occurred. So again, it's not so much what the officers do off duty. It's also that they are also abusive, when they're freaking on duty, but it's also that they are abusive when they're off duty. When you have a track record of just getting away with stuff, you would feel like you could just come home and just beat your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband. Because you are so used to getting away with freaking abuse. You abuse citizens all day long, right? Do you think when they come home, they're going to solve problems with their freaking spouse or their freaking children any differently than how they were freaking trained? Or better yet, let me ask you a question. Do you think a chef, when they come home, they serve themselves nasty ass food? No? So what you would think is a chef, when they come home, they're going to make themselves food that is good because they are a chef. So that's what they're trained to do. So when a police officer comes home and there's a certain conflict with a future spouse or children or anyone in their home, what do you think they're going to do based on the same principle as the chef who makes themselves good food when they go home? They're going to handle the scenario in the exact same situation, in the exact same manner in which they handled it on the goddamn streets. So when you allow officers off the hook, when you defend officers, when you bootlick, you're encouraging domestic violence. Believe it or not, and you can say that you aren't. You can say that you freaking aren't. But you are. And now I put that in your head. Now you got to think about that one. The department did not release any further information about this arrest. The department did not release any further information about this arrest or the investigation, citing victim privacy reasons and procedures related to domestic violence crimes, according to news release. The Sacramento Police Department does not and never will tolerate criminal behavior from our officers. Whatever you say, bro. Whatever you say. Listen, press F the doubt. Police Chief Daniel Hahn said in a news release, press F the doubt. I don't believe you, Daniel Hahn. We demand that our officers uphold the highest legal and ethical standards that are required to serve our community in the critical position of peace officer. We hold our officers in these standards, both on and off duty, and will continue to work with the victim in this case. Shepard was one of the officers named in a lawsuit by a man whose dog was shot by a police officer outside a Midtown Safeway. The lawsuit resulted in the city of Sacramento paying a $99,000 settlement to resolve the case. Again, officers just shooting cops. That's why I don't want cops here, because I have a 155-pound pit bull. Okay, so I don't want cops here because I know that they would actually shoot my dog. And if you shoot my dog, sorry, we gonna have a goddamn shootout. You're not gonna hurt my goddamn dog now. I'm sorry. Period. I don't want to hear the goddamn excuses. Bullshit. Don't want to hear it. If you hurt my dog, I got to goddamn hurt you. I don't give a damn who you are. Badge or no goddamn badge. Period. But as you can see, this officer has a history. When you start abusing animals, that's how I know you're a fucking wife beater. That's how I know. Shepard's arrest comes a day after the police department announced one of his other officers, Alexa Padubicki, was arrested on suspicion of filing false police reports. The internal investigation that led to her arrest also resulted in the suspension of 4 other officers at the department. So once again, that is precious. That is precious. That is just absolutely precious. It is just. That is precious. So I just covered Alexa Padubicki. She lied on police reports, and so many people that were ever arrested by her or any kind of testimony that was ever used by her in court, all those cases had to be freaking thrown out. So this is the department, man. Y'all got some work to do, bro. Y'all got some work to do. Y'all got some serious work to do. But then again, I'm not shocked by this because, in my opinion, all cops are goddamn bastards. All cops are goddamn bastards, man. Just unbelievable, baby. Unbelievable. College girl says, good dating advice, DA. I absolutely believe that. Yeah, because you don't want to date cops, man. Cops are freaking abusers. Holy shit. Oh, man. We got another one here. You got another one here, man. We got another bad cop. No, I think I'll make this right here a minute or less right here. We can edit that down to a minute or less. All right, we got another bad cop, no donut for you. Police officer in Kansas City suburb on leave following sexual misconduct allegations. This is from the Kansas City Star. Let's get into it. An officer with the Bachelor Police Department has been placed on administrative leave following the following allegations of sexual misconduct during a recent arrest in the Kansas City suburb. The allegations against the officer surfaced after Bachelor police were dispatched to a domestic disturbance call on Wednesday. Officers arrested a woman for obstruction of justice, but she was later released by officers without criminal charges, according to a statement from the department. Commanding officers later learned that the woman was making allegations of sexual misconduct against the officer in videos posted on social media. She filed a formal complaint against the officer the following day, the department's statement said, and an investigation was initiated. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation has been asked to review the allegations against the officer, whose name has not been released. So once again, I said it in the very, very last bad cop no donut that I mentioned about the officer who was abusing women. That if you are a woman, you see all these chicks on social media and on dating sites. I'm looking for a man with a freaking uniform. You might want to avoid cops. They are beating the living hell out of these freaking women, also sexually abusing them. Unbelievable. Listen, if you're a woman, you might just want to stick to the freaking pimps. I'm just saying. Because at least pimps can still be fucking arrested. They don't have qualified immunity. So you can also still sue them in civil court. Just saying. Yeah, that's gonna be a minute or less right there. I'm gonna try to edit that one down. But man, that's I've covered so many stories here, man. We're gonna take a quick break in a second. There's a few more stories I did want to cover. There's a few more stories that I did want to cover. There are a few more stories that I want to cover, man. So there's a few stories that I wanted to cover that I thought were absolutely precious. No. So let's see. Let's go in the comment section here. Good dating advice, DA. Yep. Once again, you don't want to date cops. But there's a few stories that I want to cover. Oh. There's this one story that I want to find again. But I can't seem to find it. Story of these cops that were speeding. And I see one story that I know I want to cover, but the reason why I want to cover this particular story because it was a story of these police officers who were racing citizens, and they got caught, and it was just, oh my God, the story was just so wild. The story was cues. It was just so wild. Oh man, we got a funny story for you. So this is called the rap. No, we won't leave that story alone. But I think this is going to be the end of the stream right here. All right, guys. Anyways, I think I covered enough stories today. You guys have this the stories you want me to cover for tomorrow. Make sure you reach out to me. Ricky Spanish, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Anyways, guys, it's going to be it for Pitchfork Podcast. Horns up, peace out. Good night and good luck. By the way, stop dating cops. They are dangerous for your health, ladies. Date me instead, baby. I love you.